to the 17th episode of The Ruins of Warsaw. I'm Alexandra, and I'm the Storyteller.
Hi, I'm Dolores, and I'm playing Janina of Clan Bruja.
Hi, I'm Faye, and I'm playing Beatrice of Clan Malkavian. Sorry.
It's been a long Sabbat night.
Yeah.
That was a very Bea moment. It's
Yeah. Who am I? Where am I?
And I'm Aurora, playing Mara of Clan Nosferatu, and the ready to save the day, maybe.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
I believe in you.
Yeah, I know.
So thank you so much for being with us. And just to do a quick recap of what happened last time, the coterie went to investigate presumed Sabbat Haven and quickly found out the presumption was very right, having encountered some Sabbat members. At first, two who quickly took out Mara, who on her own wandered inside. And later, after Bea and Janina came to the rescue, they got into a fight, which wasn't going super well, but there was some attempt at negotiation. But around that time, some more Sabbat members showed up, and the coterie was captured, and subsequently, after rejecting an offer to join the Sabbat, tortured and locked in some sort of a basement or crypt in complete darkness, having all be rather traumatized and angry. Bea, most of all, until finally they fell asleep as the sun rose. And we will pick up the next night. And just before we start, we are still very heavily in the Sabbat territory, so there might be, again, some disturbing stuff in this session. If at any point you feel that you're not up for dealing with this, absolutely step away, take a break. Just be aware that this might pop up. Okay, so with that, I think it's time to get back to our story. And we are starting with Mara. Mara, you are dreaming that you are back at your theater. You are on stage, lost in your role, acting opposite people who have been your only family in your life. And you see them and you're building something together through this performance that you're putting on, through the decorations and costumes that you made. You're proud of it. You see, everyone is doing their absolute best. An audience is watching mesmerized, watching them, watching the show you put up, and watching you. Because you know that while your colleagues are good, you are the best of them. And you know that while they're admiring the performance, they are admiring you. And you are, to them, the brightest star there on the stage. And lost in that, you don't notice the flames at first. But suddenly, they're all around you. And you're choking on dark smoke. There is a roaring fire that surrounds you from all sides, and you start hearing screams. And all of them sound familiar. Some belong to people from the theater. Some, you realize, to Janina and Bea. All of them are screaming in the flames. And you start running, desperate, to help them and save them, to not let them die again like you did before. You have that thought just flashing through your head. And their faces flash somewhere between flames. You see some of your theater colleagues. You see Bea screaming amid the flames somewhere, and you try to run towards them, but you can't get to them. The flames cut you off. And the only person who comes towards you is a dark, stoic figure of the priest. And you try to ignore him, get away from him, get to your family. But he's suddenly next to you, looking at you with a motionless, calm expression. He looks down on you as you try to just get away and ignore him and says, "Witness the fires of hell, child. Cowards who failed like you can never escape them." And you suddenly hear another scream and you leave him running around the flames that scorch your skin. You see in front of you, tall, athletic figure of Janina. Her red hair are in disarray. She is running, clearly having lost control. And you get to her, jumping over the flames, and wrap your arms around her, trying to lead her out and calm her. And she comes down a bit, and you're starting to lead her out as the smoke fills your lungs, and you can smell it everywhere and hear the roaring flames. And as you look to Janina, her face begins to melt and change color and twist until the person you're holding in your arms becomes a hunched figure of an Nosferatu with the dislocated jaw and a swollen lip, who gives you an amused, mocking smile as the flames roar all around you. You wake up in the darkness. For a moment, at the back of your mind, you can still feel that flames, their heat, hear their roar, smell their smoke. But these sensations gradually fade away, and you're only left with the darkness that surrounds you. What are you thinking about? What are you feeling after you woke up from that dream?
Mara first instantly like touch around to feel if there are the others are still there, because the immediate thought is are they safe?
Yes, so as you start touching around in the darkness, your hands come across two other bodies. And as you do that, a smell of blood begins to fill your nostrils, and you realize that you are very hungry. And the smell is very distracting and very appealing. Please roll me your self-control. Difficulty is 4, but you can only use as many dice as you have blood points. You may also spend willpower.
Okay, I'll spend willpower. I have a lot of willpower. 2 successes.
So you control yourself, smelling the blood that covers your sister. They're there, motionless still.
Janina. Mara obviously is used that Janina wake sooner or at the same time, but I imagine I hear no reply.
No, there's no response.
Okay. Touching, probably crawling, because I'm crippled and I can see in the dark. So I try to figure out where was the exit, because I knew there is an exit.
Yes, so you can do this. It doesn't take you that much time. You find a wall, and then you, from the walls, following around, you kind of get to the ladder, metal ladder that is there.
I try to push open whatever, if it's like there's a lock.
Well,
there's something.
it's like a metal door, like a trap door. What's your strength and potence?
Strength and potence. 4 -5.
Okay. It doesn't even move. You can't, like, you push at it and it's just completely locked in place.
I can use willpower.
Do you wanna, like, from the feeling it, you realize that you'd have to be much stronger to even have a chance of opening it.
Is a lock that there is a lock or something, or is it just heavy?
It's just heavy. You think, like, it's either very heavy metal or there might be something on it.
Mara is completely focused on getting the girls out of it, so she'll probably she'll try to find another exit, just in case. And if she doesn't, she'll start to try to break through the door, even though she knows she's impossible. She just
There's no other exit. You searched last time. There's no other way out. But you're trying to push it and banging at it.
Yes. I have to go a moment.
Right. Janina, you wake up.
All right.
You're in the darkness. You hear some banging coming. You remember the event.
I remember.
You remember what happened. You're in the darkness. How are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Well, I heal about a few of my wounds as soon as I realized, because I realized that I have enough blood to do that.
Yes,
so I do.
You're not hungry.
And if I hear some noise, I'm gonna whisper, Mara, is that you?
Okay, we're waiting for Aurora to come back. She said this might happen. So tell me how you're feeling, Janina, in the meantime. What goes through your head as you wake up in this place?
I think it takes me a bit to recall everything. And when I think about it, it's hard for me to believe everything that's happened. It feels just a bit distant, like it was a nightmare, a dream. And I feel hurt, and so I know it's not a dream or anything. And it makes me feel anxious and scared, because I don't really know where we are. Like, I know we are probably in some kind of basement in the church, but that's like all I know, and I don't know where I could go and if we will make it out. And I know that we all are hurt. I'm not sure how much is everyone physically hurt, but I know that Bea is really not doing well mentally. So that's as soon as I remember that Bea doesn't even remember about us, I instinctively turned to her and tried to find her body, because I assume that the noises are Mara. And if I touch, because I was sleeping with Mara, and I will try to touch Bea, and I remember that she wakes up really late, so I just want to make sure that she's there and I will keep my hand on her because that's like the most touch she allowed us in last few hours. So I'm just gonna hold my hand on her body and wait for Mara to respond to my whispering.
Yeah, Mara, you hear Janina whispering your name.
I go back immediately to her, like immediately as soon as I hear the voice. I'm here. Janina, are you? I take her.
And I will hug her very firmly.
You realize she's not very healthy in this moment. I think I probably have some bone broke.
Yes.
Broke.
And Janina, when you like hold her, is also covered in blood and visibly injured.
I can't open the door. I can't open the door.
I'm gonna try. Are you all right?
I need your help. I need your help. I'm not strong enough.
All right. I'm gonna go try. Lead me. Where do you think we need to go? And I will follow her. I will still hold her like from a bit like a hand or something. So I know it's like small basement, but I want to keep physical contact with her.
Yes, she leads you, I assume, towards. Yes.
Yes, if you take her by the hand, you probably realize her nails are extremely and horribly broken. And as soon as she take you by the door, you realize that she's trying to scratch the door, and she.
Well, you have to both go on a ladder, which is rather narrow. So, do you want to try to both get on it, or?
I think I'm gonna go first, and I will let Mara stay down. Just let me try, all right? And I'm gonna use all my strength to get up the ladder and try to push the ledge away.
You can get up the ladder, no problem. What's your strength and potence?
Strength is 2, potence is 3.
Potence is 3. So you're pushing on it, and you realize that you would have to make yourself stronger with blood to even have a chance. But roll me also your wits and science with difficulty 7. Remember about penalties for.
Yes, so I have -2 right now. Okay, wits and
science.
Science, I have nothing. So just wits and 2 penalties. So just 2. Okay. I have 5 and 7.
7. Okay. So you realize that one problem is that it might be that even if you push very hard, blocking it, like you think there is probably something lying on the trapdoor. And there is a chance that if you stand on a ladder and lock yourself in there and push with all your strength, instead of pushing up, you might actually start breaking the ladder because of how the forces
I'm gonna
distributed. Yeah.
Go back a few ladder steps, so I would be more on Mara's ladder, but I'm staying on the ladder, and I'm gonna wait for Aurora.
Okay, let's wait a moment for Aurora.
I don't know. You can go to Bea for a bit.
Okay. So you jump down, let's say.
Yeah.
And go back to Bea.
Let's say I jump.
What are you thinking now, having realized the problem?
I just want to share it with the girls, if Bea is sound of mind, at least a bit, so we could try to find another solution, because I don't know if there might not be any other way out, so we will have to think what to do, because I certainly don't want to wait here for the Sabbats to come back and do whatever they want to us. So I'm willing to try, even if it might break the ladder, but I want to discuss it with the girls first.
Yes. All right. So since Aurora isn't there, I think let's skip ahead. Let's say you spend some time working on the ladder. And
I will maybe try to find something that could be used. Is there anything else that could be used to strengthen the ladder?
not really. No.
Is it
like
there
it's
are
just
just us and
it's just
empty
you.
base?
Yes.
What if the girls hold it? Would it help?
The problem is that it's not that it's because it's attached. It would just start bending. The metal would start bending.
All right. Oh yeah, Mara's back.
Mara's back. Okay, so Janina jumped down at some point and just went to Bea. You hear her move in the darkness.
Well,
it's a bad news because I think because my normal strength is not enough, and if I use more supernatural strength, that it might break the ladder. Do you have any idea what? Are you sure there are no other exits here?
No.
Whatsoever?
No. It's the only one.
All right. I just really wish that Bea would wake up and would be in a conversation mood so we could ask her opinion about what to do.
I can help you anyway.
I don't know, because I think if it breaks, I don't know how we are going to get up. How
it's not going to break instantly. It might just start, bending.
Oh yeah. And how much of the distance is it? Like maybe if one of us would sit on other, would we be able to reach the surface even without?
If you stood on Mara's shoulders, you would be able to reach, but the principle still applies. So there would be a very strong strength and force acting on Mara's shoulders.
I mean, after we would destroy the ladder.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wait for Bea to wake up, see in what kind of mental state she is gonna be, because last night she didn't even let us touch her. So I'm just hope that she's not gonna be too aggressive, here, because we have nowhere to go and we would have to do something, and I don't want to hurt her.
There will be no need to hurt her. She will be okay.
And you?
Okay.
How are you feeling? Are you hungry?
I'm fine.
Can I check if she's lying? It's dark, so I don't.
Mara,
I don't
roll your self-control and subterfuge. And
Janina, roll your -5 or so.
Yes, Janina, roll your perception and empathy. -2, I think you're at the moment. Yes. Difficulty 6 for both of you.
Okay.
It's a subterfuge and
I have
self-control.
I have 4 success.
I have 0 dice to roll, so.
So I've actually checked at some point what happens. That means that you just fail. So what are you really feeling? What are you trying to hide?
I'm physically crippled, and I'm ravenously hungry because I have 2 blood points, and I have I want for them to get out of here the soon they can. I'm seems very impatient and very, very angry.
Is it a bit of desperation that you desperately want to get them out?
I'm fine.
So you see right through it, Janina. You realize Mara is barely holding.
Do I know that she gave me her blood? Or I don't?
I think you do. I think you know you've been woken up with some blood, and Mara was standing over you.
So I know. Okay. So Mara, I know you're not well and you're tense. I can give you my blood. I have quite a lot of it. I'm not proud of what happened, but it's better for you to take it.
I probably can't rule anything, but she seems. I think she's lying. I don't know. I probably can't rule anything. You
can roll perception and empathy. You can also spend the willpower to ignore wound penalties for a turn.
No, I'll keep that for an. Okay, one die.
I'm not lying. I'm
one success. So
you see that Janina means it.
Are you sure?
Yes, of course I am. You did the same for me. You're my sister, and I love you. And I'm gonna give her my wrist. And I'm also strong enough to take you.
But
if you won't stop.
Mara doesn't seem too happy about it, but it's a desperate situation. She just bear her fangs and bite her wrist.
So Janina, you feel the bite and the wonderful pleasure sensation spreading around you. You, Mara, taste a wonderful taste of Vita. Both of you, roll me your self-control. No penalties here. For Janina, it's going to be difficulty 8. For Mara, difficulty 6, but you only have 2 dice because you have 2 blood points when you start drinking.
I have 3 successes. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 success.
1 success. Okay, so you control yourself. And you, Janina, also control yourself. You don't lose yourself in the pleasure of the kiss. How much do you give Mara? And Mara, how much do
you... 2 blood points. I love her. Of course I give her 2.
I spent 1 to not be crippled anymore, so I can do something.
Absolutely. So you're still feeling hungry. Write down a blood bond to Janina, first step.
1 more blood bond to add to my list.
There. You wake up. You open your eyes and you see a complete darkness. You hear some noises, someone moving around, a licking sound. You can't see anything.
I start trying to feel the area around me to try and make sense of where I am. And try and get away from the noise.
So you get away from the noise, and you, as you're feeling around, you find a wall. Mara and Nina, you hear Bea sort of crawling on the floor, moving away from you.
Bea?
Just as you close the wound.
Bea?
Yes?
Do you remember us?
Yes.
How are you feeling? And I'm gonna retract my hand back as Mara licks the wound and go to Bea. Probably like.
Yes. You can move towards her and eventually just touch her, and then you
I will
reach
keep
her.
a bit of a distance between us.
Then you just sort of
give her
move.
space. But I want to
towards
be
her.
close to her a bit.
I'm hungry and
Man,
I feel like someone has ripped my stomach out.
Is the Sabbat.
Oh, great.
Do you remember they tortured us and now they locked us in some kind of basement in the church, I think. I don't think we are somewhere else. I think we are still in the church.
Wonderful.
Yes.
But you were not well last night. You couldn't even remember us, and you were saying just cycle of words. I'm so glad that you're back to some kind of normal, as you remember us. And can I hug you? It's okay if you don't want to. I'm not gonna force you. It's good just that you are remembering us.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I will at least try to extend my hand and touch her with the tip of my fingers, just so she knows that we are here.
The moment that your fingers connect with my skin, the hand just flinches back.
And I will flinch my hand back. I'm sorry.
We need to move.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a slight problem with that because Mara found an exit, the latch on the ceiling, but it's too heavy, or I think maybe they put something over it so we couldn't get out. And there's a ladder, but if I'm gonna use my strength, my supernatural strength to break it open, it might destroy, or the ladder might not be usable.
Right.
So I don't know. Do you want me to risk it? But I think if at least one of us could get up, we could help the others.
I think it's worth the risk.
Yes.
I think we need to get out.
Yes. I don't want to wait here for the bastards
Yes.
to come back.
If they get back, we are dead.
We need to leave.
We have to leave.
It would be a relief to be dead, but I'm sure they would just find another way to hurt us and torture us, and maybe even make us kill one another. That's something I'm never gonna want to see.
Let's move.
All right. So we are all in this plan. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna break the door. And then I'm gonna try as quickly as I can to get up and help both of you up if the ladder gives up.
Right.
And I'm gonna just follow our voice, Bea, because I assume she doesn't want to hold our hands, so I just hold Mara and we will go to the ledge and to the ladder and call for Bea so she knows where to go.
I follow the sounds of the footsteps.
Yes, so you get to the ladder without any issue. It's a small small space. You're by the ladder.
All right, so wish me luck. And I'm gonna on the ladder, and I'm gonna use potence. Does it cost blood? It does.
Well, your potence and your strength is not enough blood to raise your strength.
All right, so I will spend.
What is your strength?
2. My Strength is 2 and
it's
potence
2, and
3.
your potence, I think you would have to spend 4 or 5. I'm looking at the table of feat of strength now. 4 to 5 blood points.
I have only 4, but I'm gonna frenzy because I'm not gonna have any blood.
If you spend all the blood, you're gonna be in torpor, so you can't spend all the blood.
Oh, okay. So that clears it. Okay. So, what are I'm gonna?
Okay.
You can still try, but I'm not promising that it's gonna work, even if you have some successes.
Okay, I'm gonna try because I want to get the girls out of there, and that's the main thing on my mind. That I'm gonna try, even if there is not like very high chance of success.
Because you had a success for science, so you feel like it's unlikely. But if you think Janina would still try, then absolutely.
Yes, I think she would, because there is nothing else for us to do. So she has to try. She can't just let the girls be disappointed and just wait for the Sabbat to get back. So at least she's gonna try.
How much blood do you want to spend?
I will spend 2.
You spend 2 blood, so that adds to your strength. So your strength is now 4. You have 3 potence.
Yes.
And you're rolling that with athletics.
All right. And does my penalty comes into here?
Yes, it does.
I can't spend a willpower.
You can spend willpower.
Okay, I have 2. If I spend, and if I will have just 1, what does it exactly mean?
You're mentally absolutely exhausted. You're very prone to powers such as dominate or presence.
Go.
All right.
You are very prone to them at 2 willpower, so it's not that much of a change, to be honest.
That's okay. So I'm gonna spend willpower.
Yeah.
You can also spend a blood point to have guaranteed successes from potence. But I'm not saying that successes will necessarily mean that you will open the door.
No, I won't do it because I have 2 blood. I don't want to get into frenzy and debilarize any of my.
It would certainly be a way to end a session.
Yes,
very quickly.
Very quick.
So roll me your pool at the moment with your 4 strength.
I have.
Difficulty is 10 for this.
I have 1 success.
You have 1 success.
Yes.
So you push very strongly, and you feel like you feel the metal bending, and you feel like you've raised something, and you made a slight dent in the trapdoor. And as you're doing that, there is a dent also happening in the ladder you're standing on, and you're finding it harder and harder.
I'm gonna look at the girls and can you maybe get up the ladder and help me? Because I think we are destroying the ladder either way. At least like this, we can maybe push it aside, because I'm not sure if it's I can
all be able to fit up there.
I think at least one of you could at least
Mara immediately falls toward the ladder without.
So you go towards the ladder.
Yes, immediately.
It is difficult to be on this there and the same time as Janina, but you can sort of fit.
Is it near the wall, so I could fit myself a bit, lean on the wall?
It's a bit further from a wall. It's not quite by the wall.
Okay, I will try still, with my one leg to just, find a bit of more. So I had more balance, even if I'm just not holding myself, just with my legs, and I'm pushing. And I'm trying to get Mara some space so she could try to.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, you can squeeze in there. It's gonna be hard to do something, but you are near Janina. You can both smell each other's blood on you, and you're both hungry right now.
I'm trying to hide it because as good as I can, because I just gave a lot, like some blood to her, so I don't want her to feel guilty.
Roll me your self-control. How much blood do you have right now?
I have 2.
Roll me your self-control. Difficulty is 6. Yeah.
I have 2 successes.
2 success. You control yourself.
Yay.
What do you want to do?
Mara just throw herself to the door if she does not receive any other intelligence.
What the hell? Roll your strength and potence with your penalties and difficulty 10.
1 die.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I believed. No, only 9. I roll a 9.
You don't do anything. You hear like Mara banging at the metal. It's quite loud. You Bea hear them kind of shuffling there, and you hear loud
I'm
banging.
getting frustrated.
I flinch slightly. Can I try to feel around the room that we're in to try and see if there's any like furniture or equipment, or if it's just like a stone, empty stone
you
room?
are feeling around. It's pretty much empty stone. You find a piece of cloth somewhere.
Okay. I tuck it in my pocket because
it's quite big. It's more like a sack or something.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
It's a loot.
That will be my loot sack, I guess. I'll keep it with me just in case, and continue crawling around trying to find anything.
You find some broken glass at some point. There isn't really much in there.
I'll take. How big is the piece of broken glass?
It's maybe that big. It's not huge.
I'll wrap some of the cloth around it and hold on to it because that can be a weapon.
Okay, right. So you can tear some of the cloth.
That's good thinking. I would never think of that.
And keep it in your pocket.
I'm just playing like click point detect.
To your head.
I'm confused and freaked out, and the banging sounds are not helping. I now know that one of my sisters is called Mara. I don't know what the other one is called yet, because I don't think they've said the name Janina while I was conscious. I'm just in pain and hungry, and I just want to be back with Mother, wherever that was, because I can't remember where we were. And I just want to be out of damn darkness.
Mara, Janina, you're not making any progress.
All right, I think I'm gonna frustratedly try to swing with a bit, and then I'm just gonna and I'm gonna get down the ladder, and I'm gonna sit frustratedly on the ground.
I don't know. I think that I go like full horror movie survivalist and try to open the door uselessly till something
So
happens.
Mara is still banging.
Mara, don't even try. We don't have a chance. Maybe if we would properly fed, maybe we could, but like this,
Mara totally ignores you.
I'm gonna like look at her. If I'm assuming that there's a bit of like a light cracking, so I can see a bit of like a silhouette of her.
There's no light at all.
All right, so at least I'm gonna like glance.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Sabbat attack.
Have we lost Dolores?
The First Inquisition has come.
Yeah. First Inquisition is coming.
Technical problems. All right then.
Well,
Mara is banging.
See, Mara is uselessly banging or scraping at the door.
Should we go to
fully
technical
intended
break
to
for a
keep
moment?
doing it.
Yay.
Okay.
It was too much frustration. The internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's
Internet
always issues.
can handle Janina's fury.
But let's continue. Mara keeps banging. There is just the sound of banging. Janina, you're sitting there and Mara's just not listening to you.
After a while, if she's not stopping, I'm just gonna stand up and I'm gonna grab her and I put her like down. I will put her down by force and just hug her. I'm sorry, Mara.
Someone pulls you down, Mara, and you fall down into Janina's arms.
I think she managed. I'm not very strong at the moment.
I'm just gonna hold you. I know you want to get out. I want to, but let's not waste the rest of our strength for this because it's not gonna happen. I don't know. I think we're failed. We just have to wait here for whatever.
For what?
I don't know. I really don't know. For more torture, I assume. What else would they do to us? Like,
Bea, how are you feeling?
I'll cope. I'll manage.
how much physical
Can
damage
I?
are you both having? Because I can feel, Mara, that your horn is gone. Does it hurt? Do you have other things that hurt you?
That's
And
that is relevant. We have to move out of here. My wounds will heal, I suppose.
and what about our blood?
I have to save the little blood I have. I cannot waste any more blood to
I
heal.
also don't have any more blood. I shared with you, and now I'm just.
No, you
just have
need
to.
you. Bea, I
much-
hate to ask you this. I know that you are as beaten as us, I imagine. But normal means are failing us. You think you are up to use your supernatural sight or premonition or whatever to find a way.
Usually I read omens. It's a bit difficult to read omens in here.
I am out of option at the moment.
I'm just.
Let's pause on that. How do you feel, Mara, being out of options? What does that do to your psyche? That realization.
Mara is extremely angry because she does not like to be to feel useless and powerless in general, and obviously in this situation in particular, because for her it's just like a repeat of her embrace in a sense. So she's extremely angry, but she's trying to not freak out with her sister, because she does not want to scare them or hurt them. She's trying to keep calm as much as you can, but she is extremely angry.
But I think based on your role before, some of the emotions show through.
Yes.
Not the full strength maybe, but it's clear Mara is very agitated. And as you're talking, you hear a sound of something being moved, just screeching on the floor from above you.
If Mara's like, yeah, I will try to, like, with my hands to shut her mouth so we would be quiet.
And the sound stops. opens and some light comes in.
I think I would
much,
make a step back.
but there is a little bit of light, so that you can see each other. You can see each other's figures. You can see bear and blood on her clothes coming from a wound in her stomach. You can see Janina is completely bloodied. You can see Mara is missing a horn and is also quite bitten and bloodied. And from above, in the now open trapdoor, in the light, you see a smiling face of Arek wearing a cap on his head, some of his hair sticking out in a bit of a disarray. And he smiles and says, "Evening, ladies," and jumps in. And just after him jumps Gravedigger without saying anything.
I'm just gonna step
and
back.
Estera is the next one. And she jumps in as well.
I step in front of the girls.
I want to do the same.
Yeah.
Clonk.
So you both step out in front of Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and
I'm just like
Janina
protecting them with my arms, like trying to.
Gravedigger attempts to grab you, Mara.
I'm gonna stop him immediately. If I see that he's trying to reach her, I'm just gonna stop my hand, reach my hand towards him, so he didn't.
Roll your strength, and your strength is still higher. Plus your athletics. No, plus your brawl actually, and your potence. And remember about your penalties.
Yes. Okay. What is the difficulty?
6. I'm gonna roll for him.
I have 4. 4 successes.
4 successes. Let's see what he has.
I hope nothing.
Oh, he has. Oh my god. He pushes you aside, like completely.
I'm gonna growl at him at least.
He just pushes you to the side. You fall down.
At least I'm gonna shout at him, "Get your fucking hands away from him."
I attack him probably uselessly because I like it.
What do you attempt to do?
Probably he's trying to grab me.
Yeah.
I try like to headbutt him.
Roll your dex and brawl.
Ooh, maybe I have some dice.
Well,
remember about your penalties.
Yeah. How could I forget? 3.
Difficulty is 6.
1 success.
1 success. What the hell? Roll your strength and your potence.
I applied the penalty or not?
No, not to this one. No. Oh, actually, do you apply penalty to this? I don't think so. No.
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. It doesn't seem to make any impression on him. You headbutt him.
I'm not the fighter of the.
After which he lifts you and throws you over his arm.
While he's doing this,
I'm gonna try to jump on him.
Right, let's fight.
Right,
away.
Hi. Well, I would like to say to him, back off, and I'd like to activate dementation on him.
Okay, is that haunting?
Yes.
Okay.
I keep forgetting what it's called, so I just call it dementation, and you know what I mean.
As much success as last time.
And
the blood.
Our damage DM.
Spend the blood point.
Yep. I'm also now not doing so good on the blood front, but hey, why not? Let's just make a thing of it.
And difficulty is gonna be 7. Roll your manipulation and subterfuge.
And I've got -1 from my wounds. Four successes.
You have 4 successes. Okay. So At this, still holding Mara, like locked on his shoulders, he squeezes her more tightly, starts looking around. The fuck?
I'm trying to jump on him.
What are you doing, him? Meanwhile, wait a second, there's 2 more people in there.
Who was the other one?
It's
Except
Sarah and Arek, and they're gonna do
Oh.
something in a moment. And he's clearly disoriented, looking around. Not this again. This again. And Mara, you feel him clutching on you with all his strength. Please roll me your stamina.
Sorry.
With the penalty?
No, just your stamina. Difficulty 6.
Ooh, 1. A 10. One
Okay,
success.
so it doesn't like hurt you that much, but you feel the pain as his hands almost crush your bones. As he is just grabbing you in desperation, holding on even tighter, keeping you in place. Meanwhile, Arek looks to you, Janina, and locks eyes with you and says, "Stay."
Oh.
What's your willpower?
1.
Damn.
Bye.
Well, you feel at his gaze, you are about to jump on Gravedigger to free Mara. And you feel the strength of his will just crushing you. And you can't bring yourself to move. You're just locked by his gaze, his command ringing in your ears. You don't have enough willpower to resist.
I will shout. Try to shout something to Gravedigger to.
You can shout,
Yeah,
but you
I will
can't.
shout. Yeah, I'm not gonna move, but I'm just gonna like let her go.
He appears to not even be noticing you.
I'm growling at him. That's all I can do.
Meanwhile, Estera comes up to you, Bea. You look at this woman, and when you look at others, you feel hate. When you look at her, you feel confusion. And she attempts to put arm around you.
I flinch.
When you flinch, she stops. She says, "Come with me. We need to talk."
I slowly nod. And follow.
If I notice Bea being taken, I'm gonna shout to her, "Just remember, we are your sisters.
I'm.
Don't trust her."
Mara is trying to get free from the big guy.
Roll your
screaming
strength, roll potence with your penalties.
Nope.
No, you have nothing. He's holding you in place. Your bones are almost crushed. Bea starts walking up the ladder with Estera. And
Janina is staying in the.
yeah, Janina is just frozen after Arek told her to stay. She just stood in place. She just stopped.
I'm just shouting to everyone.
She's just shouting.
Mara keeps watching from Janina to Bea, trying to break free.
So you can't break free. Janina is just there shouting. You see Arek come up to Gravedigger. Like, what did that fucking bitch to do? I'm gonna show her. Come on, man. need to go up. And he like bangs him on the head a few times. The gravedigger looks around. Fuck. Just let's get the fuck out of here. And he holds you with one hand still and starts climbing up the ladder. And then Arek comes after him. And he carries you out.
We are all being dragged out together.
Except Janina.
Janina is staying there.
Janina is staying there. And after you are taken out, you see Estella closes the hatch. And she and Gravedigger, who's still carrying you, push a big stone sarcophagus back onto the trapdoor. And you see now that you're in some kind of narrow part of a crypt with brick walls. You see Irmina there as well, dressed in another, this time red dress and with polka dots, white polka dots on her, looking around. She looks at you. Roll me your perception and awareness, Mara. With difficulty is 8.
What? With my pen? 1 success.
1 success. So she looks to you, and you feel her inside your mind, looking at your thoughts, looking at your nightmares, dragging out the memories of theater, of the family you've lost, of flames, of your theater burning. And she smiles and comes up to you.
I can't spend willpower to push her away, I suppose not.
No, you can't. You're aware
Okay.
that she's doing it. It stops after a while. And she smiles. And comes up carrying a chain and a collar. And she locks a collar on your neck.
I try to bite her hand.
Okay, you try to bite her hand. Roll me your dex and brawl, but I'm gonna give you difficulty 8 because you can't quite move. You are being carried. No.
I can't. No.
So she moves out of the way and locks the collar around you. Oh wait, I forgot about one thing actually. So let's rewind. One other thing that you see before they close the trapdoor is that, I'm sorry about that, but it happens. One other thing is that they are carrying another person. Sort of frail, young-looking woman with bloodied hair, and they toss her inside before they lock.
We forgot the other.
Yes, they toss her inside before they lock. Otherwise, the things progress as they have. Irmina turns to Gravedigger. Can you watch her for me for a bit? I have to prepare everything, and you're so good with pets. And he's like shaking his head, still visibly not quite there in his mind. Do whatever the fuck you want, kid. And he smiles, and you bear see a little bit of pride in this smile, although his thoughts are clearly preoccupied with other stuff, fighting off what you did to him.
I'm just enjoying watching him suffer.
I keep trying to break free, probably useless.
So you are
but I
trying to
try.
break free, but he's holding you very tight.
I keep like
yeah. So you keep
behind.
flailing. Bea, let's start with you. Estera starts leading you along the corridor of the crypt. And Arek just follows. And he almost runs up to you, puts his arm around you.
I flinch.
Hey, Beatrice, remember me? I remember you well. And we didn't quite have a little chat. You weren't in the mood to talk yesterday. We had some good times together, didn't we?
I'm not sure I would agree with the sentiment.
Oh, we got up to so much with the old crowd.
Before you betrayed them?
Yes. Well, you can't really blame me.
I can.
Martin was always going on about caution and it's no way to live in fear all the time, hiding, being cautious. I can still hear it in my head, incessant vengeful whining. Although I suppose you would like that, wouldn't you? You were quite close, I think. I don't remember. But then, you don't remember either, do you?
It doesn't matter. I know that I hate you.
Well, I think you're adorable. And you're walking along the corridors in the crypt. There's some light here from the lamps on the walls. You see brick walls around you. The ceiling is quite low. Stella is walking, just looking, but not saying anything at this point.
My skin is crawling with the fact that anyone is touching me, and especially that it's him. I'm trying to will myself to not keep trying to struggle out. So, yeah, I'm trying to hold it together.
He pats you a bit on the cheek. You quite messed me up yesterday, and you're Mina and now Gravedigger. It's a really bitchy move, you know. We're gonna make you pay for that. If Martin can still hear what I'm trying and I'm thinking about, and what we'll get up to with you and your friends, he must be. I guess that's the only consolation for having him in my head.
And I will enjoy every moment of your fucking suffering. I just smile with fangs fully out.
How are you feeling at this moment? You hear the name Martin, and it sparks some good feelings of depending on each other, reliability, camaraderie.
I'm angry. I'm kind of wrestling between the anger and the disgust and the just wanting him to stop fucking touching me. But I'm trying to hold it together because I want to hear what Estera has to say. So I'm just trying to put on a face as much as I can, but I'm also worried about my sisters. It's a big old mess up here.
And as you walk, he goes on a bit about having read your journal, making comments about your sisters, about your mother, some more about good times. He recounts having captured one of your coterie, Cuba and tells the story of how they tortured him for weeks, promising the same will happen to you and your sisters now. And finally, you get to a curtain. It's pretty dirty sort of curtain, more like a piece of cloth someone put over part of a crypt. And Astera pushes it to the side, revealing inside. And inside, there isn't really much there. There are some more just sacks on the floor arranged as in like a place to sleep. You see some books around. You see Sabbat cross burned into the wall. And she looks to Arek and says, all right, fuck off now. He looks to her. Well, you think I'm gonna leave you alone with her? She looks, damn right you are. Well, we can't have a conversation. And they look at each other for a moment. And then he shakes his head. Well, do whatever the fuck you wanna do. Just make sure she doesn't disappear anywhere. Because you know, if she does, people will have questions. And then he turns and walks away, and you're left with Astera. Meanwhile, Mara, Gravedigger, takes the chain attached to the collar that's now on your neck and gets some piece of metal, jams it into the wall, and then bends it so that it goes through your chain and attaches you to it and throws you down.
Okay. Mara, despite realizing that from what she just seen, the difference in strength between them is quite a lot. She keeps trying to do what, to punch him, bite him, whatever.
He actually moves away and just leaves
without.
you there.
I try to, if for the time he's in range, I try to attack him, and when he...
So you throw a few punches. It doesn't do much impression on him. He goes a bit further away, sits on the sarcophagus, takes something out, and you see it's one of your horns. And then he whistles, and you hear footsteps, and you see his dog come up. And he just says, come on, you dirty bastard, fetch. And he throws your horn. And the dog goes to fetch it. And they do it a few times as you sit there.
I will give your dog your head next.
He ignores you completely. He, raises his hands to his head from time to time and just focuses on playing with his dog using your horn.
I try to talk to the dog with animalism.
Well, the dog is not that close to you, so you would have to call it to come to you.
I do that if I can.
Roll charisma and animal can.
My top.
Difficulty is gonna be 8 because it's not quite an ordinary dog.
No.
No.
It's just keep ignoring me.
The dog, they both ignore you. The dog is too focused on playing, fetching your horn. It wiggles its tail as it comes back to Gravedigger.
My sworn enemy.
The dog on the head. Good boy. Good dirty old bastard. And throws the horn again. Meanwhile, Janina. You see them all go out. You see another body being thrown in.
I will probably flinch, and when I see...
You can now move the force that held you in place from one word command from Arek is gone now.
Can I glance the face of the person that they throw away? Do I recognize it as the woman that was tied with near me?
Yes, you would have seen,
Right.
like, as they dragged her to the edge.
I will-
It's a very young face, looks maybe 16, 17,
Right.
from the appearance at least. And then chapter closes and you hear the same noise of something being moved over it, and you're left in the darkness.
I'm gonna kneel and try to find the body, and I will whisper.
So you try to find her, and you hear her shifting. Don't come close. I don't know if I can control myself.
All right, I'm gonna push myself a bit further. What's your name?
Nella. And then, and then you hear her just like, no, and she gives out this almost howl and attempts to move towards you, just like jumps towards you. Just roll your strength. It's still higher, and athletics and potence. Of difficulty 6. Have your penalties, but she has hers.
I have one success.
One success. She pushes you to the side, but you can see that she's clearly in frenzy, but she can't quite move properly, so she's attempting to like crawl towards you and bite into you.
I will try to push her up and smash her on the wall.
How hard are you trying to do this?
Just to bring her out of frenzy. Yeah, I don't want her to like get more hurt. I just want her to regain a bit of consciousness.
Right, roll your strength, athletic potence again.
Right.
Oh, actually, not athletics, roll this time.
I have it's the same, so.
Okay.
I have, what is the difficulty?
6.
I have 2 successes.
You have 2 successes. Actually, she doesn't have penalties now. She's in frenzy. But you still manage to hold her. You have to struggle with her a bit. She's clearly pretty strong, much stronger than she seems. And there are times when she almost.
I will try to call her name, like, and I will just say, like, calm down, Nella. Calm down. I don't want
as you are close to her, you feel the smell of a blood also that covers her.
I'm trying.
And I would like you to also roll me self-control with difficulty 6, but you can only use 2 dice because you have 2 blood points.
No.
Nice fee, no.
Bye, Nella.
Bye. I tried.
What did you get?
I have 2 and 2.
Okay, right. Well, I guess this is happening.
Oh my god.
So you try to hold her.
Rip Nella.
And she's struggling, and it's annoying that she's struggling, and you want to calm her down. What other thoughts were running through your head as you were trying to calm her down?
I'm a bit hopeless and frustrated that now I'm disconnected with my sisters. They are away, and I'm here alone with no exit, as now I know 100% that I can't get out of there, that there is something heavy and I have no chance, and the girl that could help me is also in a bad state, and I'm frustrated with her, with everything, and I'm just feeling hopeless.
And you're feeling hopeless and frustrated, and she's struggling against you, and you feel she's covered in blood, and as you're struggling, some of this blood splashes over.
I will probably
your
start
face.
to cry, and I will bite her.
Yes, and you taste it, and you bite into her. Losing.
But I'm just crying even before I even touch her, because I knew that I'm gonna give up. I'm just gonna drink her dry.
And you bite into her. And the world becomes pleasure and darkness. And I think this is a good time for the break. So, we will be back in about 15 minutes. Please stay with us. I hope you're enjoying it.
So sad.
We will, yes,
I really wanted
that
to.
is quite sad. We will see what other things will unfold in about
Yeah, I
15
need to
minutes.
say bye.
So, see you then.
Bye. Love you.
One.
Welcome back. Sorry for a bit longer break, but we're here now. Thank you so much for staying with us. And hopefully you will enjoy the second half of the episode. Let's jump right back in to Mara. So you're there trying to bring the dog's attention to yourself, shouting at Gravedigger, both him and the dog ignoring you. And that goes on for a while. You hear at some point some noise coming from down, but you're not sure what it is. And it all lasts for a bit. And finally, Ilmina appears again, marching along the corridor, and then waves at Gravedigger. Come on, bring her in, bring her in. And he takes his horn, puts it in his pocket, pats the dog, leans towards the dog, looks into its eyes. His lips move slightly, but he doesn't appear to be actually saying any words.
Then.
And then the dog runs away. And he comes to you, grabs you, puts you again over his shoulder, pulls the metal out of the wall.
I'll keep uselessly
You
fighting.
need to depolarize him.
You're flailing, but he's holding you in place. And he's carrying you. As he is, you see the same parts of the crypt. You see some more sarcophagi, big stone ones in various places. You see some crosses on the walls, normal ones. You look into one alcove on the way, and you see there some drawings of mountains just put on the walls, mountains and forests. But he carries you further to one more alcove where there is a bit of like wooden construction. You think it might have been maybe to hold some small holy statue or something. It's enough for like two people maybe to stand on, but it's clearly for display purposes. And there are some curtains hanging around it, and you see a cross and a holy picture just pushed to the side. And in front of it, as you're walking, you see there are chairs, and in those chairs there is Jacek, the shovelhead, whom you met on a few occasions, and the Nosferatu, who was there last night as well. And some of the chairs, there aren't very many of them, are occupied by dead bodies that have been just arranged on the chairs. And Ilmina just says, come. She's moving between the chairs. Come on, bring her in. And Gravedigger just brings you, at some point just throws you so that you land on this wooden construction, the little almost stage. You see Arek at this point also join and just sit. And Ilmina is just correcting some clothes on some of the dead bodies and arranging their heads so that they're looking straight towards you. And then she sits at the front with Jacek and Arek nearby. And Gravedigger sort of stands a bit further away, not quite, but like a few steps back. Irmina looks to you. Come on, entertain us. You're an actress, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, then act.
You are not worthy of my skill.
Oh, I told you she's adorable, isn't she? She says to others. Come on.
This, I will not let you mock my form.
Mara, before you do that, as you look at all this, roll courage to talk back to them. Difficulty 8. Penalties don't count here. Penalties don't count here. No.
And I will spend a willpower point, a very important willpower point.
Okay, you spend willpower point on that.
Woo! And I will not need it because but I already spent it. So 5 successes.
5 successes. Yeah, you can talk back.
I will not let you mock my art and my life. And
She's doing so well,
with my little strength.
Yeah.
I destroy. Probably I'll just tore one of the.
Oh, you pull on the cord. So yeah, you start pulling on it. It's not quite coming off, but you manage to yeah. You manage to tear it a bit. You're slowly tearing it to pieces, but it's not quite all down yet.
Yes, I'm not very strong, but
but
you're dramatically
put
everything down, but I'm not very strong.
And Irmina is like, well, isn't this a wonderful performance? She's marvelous. And Alec is like, she's boring. Boo! And some of these others just join in booing.
I think I have to willpower. I have to roll for frenzy. Okay. I think for something like that.
For self-control. Do you think it's difficulty 8, public humiliation?
Yes, because I think that is something Mara will get a bit angry about.
Okay.
Woo! 10. I have a 10.
You have a 10. Okay. So you control yourself. What are you feeling? What's going through your head as this is happening?
Mara is beyond furious and and almost wish to have the fire to bring all down in flames, even with her inside. She doesn't care. Just to stop this mockery of her former life, because for her this is very art is almost everything she was. So she's just if she had a torch, she would probably set everything to flames and done with it and be done with it. But she doesn't have flames.
No,
so
she
look at Eric, right? And Eric, probably for a moment it seems like she's going to jump on him, but she controls herself. And she's restrained somehow.
No, not really, except you're in the alcove, which is very small, and they're all just blocking the way. So if you wanted, you're just gonna run into one of them.
Yes.
It's pretty tight space, but you can move.
She held high and very dramatically after wreaking havoc on this mockery of a stage. She made make an exit that will end probably very soon. But
Yes. So as you try to leave, Arik and Jacek grab you.
Art is not for the one like you. You can understand true
They
art.
grab you and they just throw you back on the stage. And Jacek is like, come on, Janina, this is boring. She's boring. Can we go now? Like, no, we should give her a prop, a friend to act with. Give her one. And she gestures to these dead bodies. And Arek at this gives a grin, and he takes a dead body and throws it at you, Mara, so it kind of lands on you as you're trying to stand up. Come on, play with it. You're so cute, you're adorable.
You are not worthy of my art, and you are
But
disgusting.
you're doing so well. This is great art.
She actually gently put down the body because it was a person. They were a person. It gently and whisper to the body, "I'm very sorry." Put down gently the body and try to exit once again.
So as you try to exit,
worthy.
they
You are
continue.
disgusting.
They completely ignore you. They keep throwing you back on the stage. And Ilmina is just absolutely, she's acting like you're giving the best performance of your life right now. And I presume you are extremely frustrated.
Yes, I'll probably have to roll some other times for frenzy if this goes
Roll
on.
again
I
for
imagine.
frenzy. As it goes on.
Difficulty 8.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Okay, that's cool. So at some point, when they throw you back and you hit this body, what goes through your head as you feel anger rising in you? What thoughts are there?
I wish I have enough power to kill all of you in flames like my family were.
So you
and
think
probably darkness after that.
Darkness, and you, as the darkness sets in and you're vaguely aware of something taking over your body, you hear laughter and cheers and clapping. Meanwhile,
And
Janina,
welcome back.
You are a young woman, 16 years old, and you know you have an important task. You have to deliver a message to a different resistant cell. You're moving with your bike, pretending to be just an ordinary city dweller, steer away from the Nazi soldiers. You know, you don't know the contents of the envelope you're carrying, but you know it's of vital importance that it doesn't fall into wrong hands. And you're sneaking through the streets of Warsaw. And then you're somewhere else, and you hear the bombs overhead, and you are hunched in the basement of the building. You see your mother and father near you. Your father has been sick, and through the hunger during the war, got even worse and deteriorated. Your mother is trying to keep strong, but you know she's scared, and you are scared, but you know you need to be strong for them. Your neighbors are also there. Everyone hiding from the bombs that are falling on the city, but you know you have to keep fighting. You know you can't give up. And you stand up and start giving a speech, trying to go to people, calm them. And some of them listen to you, some are crying, but some listen to you and you provide them some consolation. And then you're drinking blood and you hate the feeling. You hate it so much. It's revolting what you've done to this person, this man of maybe your age, whom you just jumped in the street. And you see a face of your sire. You see his blonde hair and green eyes. His sire, Daniel, comes up, your sire, Daniel, comes up to you and puts an arm around you. Like, let's get out of here. We have to move quickly. And you're really shaken by what you've done. But you know you had to, you were so hungry. And you're still shaking, feeling all the guilt from attacking this man who didn't deserve to be fed upon. But your sire leads you away and you want him to be happy. And you know he's right. You know you can't disappoint him. So you go with him, feeling disgusted with yourself for what you've done. And he consoles you, explaining it was necessary. And that you need to feed regularly to avoid hurting people even more. And you know, but you hate it. And you're not sure if you want to go on. Janina, you open your eyes from these memories, being against yourself, and you taste ash in your mouth. And you have ash on your hands. The woman there who was there is no more. And please roll me conscience. Difficulty is always 8.
Does penalty applies?
No, not here.
I have 1 success.
1 success. So you feel very strongly that you just killed this woman, this girl who was 16 years old during the war. And part of her is now in you. You can't shake that feeling.
I will probably curl up in a fetal position and just cry and hate myself.
You saw in your memories the face of her sire, which is the same as face of your sire as well. But maybe you don't care at the moment. Or maybe it was just memories getting mixed.
Yes, I think I'm just a bit confused. I feel for her memories, like her family, and it just, right now I'm probably not in the sound of mind to try to think much into if it was really the same sire, or if it just was like a mix of memories. I never did this to anyone before, so I'm just out of it. I just want to forget it, and I'm probably my will to live is not great.
No.
I'm just lying there curled and waiting to die, because like right now I just hate myself. And that's overpowering everything, like even the love for my sisters.
So you stay there with those thoughts. Meanwhile, Bear, you stay with Astera, who waits a bit after Arik left. looks to you. How are you holding up?
Wonderfully, darling.
Come on. Sit here. And she points to kind of, not quite a sarcophagus, but the sort of like smaller sarcophagus gravestone that is in this alcove.
Is
Towards
she
the
also
wall.
sitting? Is she
Yeah,
also...
she sits down.
I will slowly move over and sit sort of at the furthest possible distance I can from her, but I will sit.
So you sit, and she sits near you. And as you are with her, you start feeling. What were you feeling at the start?
Angry. A little desperate. Confused. In pain. Hungry.
So as she's talking to you, looks to you, and smiles, you start feeling more comfortable in her presence. And something in you wants to trust her and rely on her. And she seems safe. You can tell that it's probably something supernatural happening. But it is happening. And you start feeling those feelings.
So, I know you.
Yes, we've met. You're a dear child of my good friend. I really hope to speak to Felicia. I was hoping you can pass a message so that I can meet with her.
I can't promise I'll remember it.
I have your journal. Can give it back to you. And she gives it to you, and she gives you a pen as well. And some ink.
What is the message?
Tell her. Please write down that. Well, I would like to meet with her. In the building of the old Schachtmeyer's School for Girls. She will know the place. We've been there together a few times. It's abandoned now. I might not be there, but if I won't be there, I'll leave a message. I'll try to be there, though. You must understand, Bea. I don't mean you nor Felicia any harm. I want to convince her, help her understand.
Why did you come here?
Wasn't my choice at first, but after a while I realized that there is a grave danger to this world, that the weight might wipe out everyone, our kind and humans, and only the Sabbat, for all their cruelty and violence, only they can stop it, nothing else. Well, nobody else talks about. They're just puppets.
Is it the darkness?
No, it's the ancients. It's the end of the world. Maybe the darkness as well. She looks confused at that a bit. You can't disbelieve the end of the world is near. Look at the destruction the mortals wrought on everything we knew. It must be the end of days, and we need to prepare. And nobody else knows, or they don't want to know. They're blinded.
I'm writing down as she's speaking. I write down the message. The end of the world is coming.
I need to speak to Felicia. Try to make her understand. I don't want any hurt to come to you, and I don't want her to come to her either. I know it doesn't feel like that at the moment, but you can trust me.
I do. Even although how much of that is my own choice is questionable.
I'm sorry,
But-
I just wanted you to feel more comfortable.
But I don't hate you. I always remember hatred, and I don't hate you.
I'm glad. I hope Felicia won't either. I hope both of you will join us. I will talk to Florian.
What will happen to my sisters?
I'll try to help them as much as I can. You must understand the people here, they have their own ways, and I struggle with some of them. They would say I'm still not ready, and maybe they're right. Maybe you need ruthlessness to save the world.
I think you could do better than Arak. He's a coward.
Arak is... She frowns, shakes her head. We need everyone we can get. He's a capable fighter.
He's a little boy that lashes out at the world around him to feel big.
In time of need, even boys like this can make good soldiers.
Well, I suppose I can be pragmatic. I don't have to like it. You said the ancients?
Yes, I don't know everything Florian's been teaching me. Our ancestors, they will come, bringing the end with them. I didn't believe it at first. I thought they were talking nonsense, but seeing everything that's happened, how can you not believe? More tragedies to come.
I look around at the decrepit crypt where we have been tortured, where people have been butchered, where there's been mindless violence. And I look her in the eyes and go, I suppose I can see how you could think that.
Will you give my message to Felicia?
I don't see how I will get it to her.
I will sneak you out of here. Florian will be angry, but it's all right. I'll explain it.
I don't know where we are.
You'll find your way. You're gonna have to. I'm sorry, I can't do more than that.
There was a map in my bag.
It must be somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Okay. I pick open my notebook and try to flick back, try to figure out where Mother would be.
You would find mentions of Hotel Bristol.
Okay. Please take care of my sisters. I want them to be safe. I don't want them left like this, but I don't see how we're going to get out.
I'm sorry, I'll do what I can. Maybe they can still be persuaded. You shouldn't have refused Florian. Although I've done it as well, many times, before he accepted me.
They're young and they're soft. I look as though I want to cry.
Come, we need to hurry.
Yes.
And she
I
starts guiding you
I will stow my
along the
notebook.
crypt. And you see the dog that you know belongs to Gravedigger. stand outside the alcove you were in. And seeing you, it just starts barking and barking and barking. And Estella says, shit.
Does the first level of dementation, could I try using it to calm the dog? I know it's not animalism. I'm just wondering.
Oh my god.
I don't know if I've ever tried this. So.
I don't know. I think you could try to calm it.
I imagine the difficulty will be pretty high.
I'm going to give you difficulty 9.
That's fair. I'll spend a willpower on that.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the roll again for this?
It's your charisma and empathy.
And empathy, and I've got a -1 because I'm injured. There was difficulty 9.
9.
I have a 10 and a 9, so that's 3 successes.
You have 3 successes. So, happens is the dog becomes completely still, as if it went numb, and is just barking and barking with no emotion, as if it wasn't barking out of emotion in the first place.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. Well, now I know that's what happens.
As you're doing it, she's pulling at you.
Okay, I will follow.
And you follow, and you hear steps coming from the side.
Okay.
And she's like, if it doesn't work now, we're gonna have to wait, but I'll work something out.
Okay.
And as you see, Gravedigger emerges.
I would like to act as though she's upset me.
Okay.
I'd like to sort of yell, "Don't touch me!" at her, as though.
Roll manipulation and subterfuge.
Okay. What's my difficulty? Is it difficulty 6?
Difficulty 6, yeah.
Well. Oh God. Does persuasive come into this?
I don't think you're quite being persuasive. I think you're more like pretending something.
That's fair. Okay, that is 5 successes.
It is 5 successes.
Yep.
So he looks to you and Astera.
And I'm just kind of backing away from her into a corner.
Here I was thinking you were up to no good. He says, looking at Astera. Come on, let's get her back. You've had enough chatting. And he grabs you by the arm.
I flinch and start vaguely trying to thrash with my.
And Astera takes your other arm. And they lead you back. Towards the sarcophagus, which they moved out of the way.
Mm.
And they open the trapdoor. Janina, you see some light falling back into the place where you are.
I'm just giving up everything. I'm just not even gonna get up.
Gravedigger just pulls you away from Astera. There, holds you, squeezes your arm super tight. Roll me your stamina, please.
What's my difficulty?
6. It's just soaking down.
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. Let's see. So that's okay. -2. Take 1 damage as some of your bones in your arm crack.
Ow.
You and I are gonna have a chat later. And then he pushes you down. And you fall down.
Can I try to grab the ladder? Okay.
Janina, you see Bea just fall down.
Can I hear her crying?
Yes, I presume so.
I'll crawl across the floor to find her.
I will try to push her away.
I'm not touching. I'm just sitting next to.
Okay. I'll try to contain my crying when I hear that you are here with me. But I'm not saying anything.
I start to Did I notice the ash in the room with her when I fell down? When the light was still there?
Perception and alertness. But I'm gonna say difficulty is 8 because you are falling down.
It's fair. Okay, and I have -2.
See how much you observed.
1 success.
So yes, you saw Janina crying and covered in something, maybe ash, dirt, something like that, in something dark, grey on her face and hands.
And I saw the person get thrown in there with her.
Before, yes.
Can I put 2 and 2 together and get diablerie?
I would say so, yes.
Okay. Then
you have a way of checking as well.
I do have a way of checking. How does it work in the dark? Because
you can see auras in the dark.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'd say.
Sure, I'll try aura perception on her.
Perception and empathy. Difficulty is 8 for that always.
I finally managed to successfully roll aura perception on my coterie, and it's the worst time. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. What is Janina's main emotion at the moment?
I think just failure, just giving up, just hopelessness.
So you see this dark, completely dispirited aura and almost blends into darkness, meaning complete despair and hopelessness. And running through it, even darker, slightly pulsing, dark veins that indicate the diablerist.
I close my eyes, wait for the aura perception to fade away, and then I just start telling her a fairy story, or like a fairy tale. That seems to come from somewhere in the back of my head. I can't quite recall where it's from, but I just start from the sort of once upon a time, and just talk to her.
Janina, you hear this fairy tale, an old folk tale.
I'm probably just being silent.
What are you thinking? You're hearing the story about a mermaid that lived in a Vistula river and got caught by a fisherman and they fell in love.
I'm just probably gonna cry.
I'll just sit with her, telling her the story. And once the story fades, I'll sit there and hum a lullaby and just sit with her.
And you sit there together.
I will probably extend my hand and try to touch her with my hand, like a finger, like just a light touch.
Could I roll self-control to let her touch me?
Roll self-control. Difficulty should be for Bea. For Janina.
For Janina, maybe a difficulty 7. I would normally say 8.
Okay. Just trying to discern how hard it is for Bea, how difficult it is to resist.
It's a little less difficult when
difficulty 7.
Yeah. 2 successes.
2 successes, so you don't flinch.
I'll sit there just with our pinkies kind of touching.
And you sit there, you're humming a lullaby. Janina crying. Mara, you come.
Okay.
And like before, you can't move. You're lying there. You see some of the chairs around you being broken, some of the bodies being maybe smashed against the wall, maybe torn apart. And you know you must have done some of that in your frenzy. Over you is standing Irmina in the attic. And Irmina leans over you. Oh, you gave a marvelous performance. And she touches your hair, rearranging it a bit. I'm so proud of you. You are truly a great actress. All this act about denying us art, that was great. It was the best I've ever seen.
I glare at her.
You're such an ugly doll, and I will keep you for such a long time. You're marvelous.
I glare at her because I cannot do much more. I
What's
suppose.
going through your head as you see these bodies you must have desecrated in your frenzy?
I'm Mara. Other than her constant fury for the situation she's in, and all that is happening, she's a bit. There's a bit of sadness, and in seeing all that she hold, and she, especially when she was alive, she had dear, reduced to that, to this mockery, the dead used as a spectator. It's like a sense of emptiness, almost like of all my career as and is this going to end here my career in this mockery and like sad mimicking of a theater? And there's a bit of that and anger and avenge the will of avenging and punishing them for what they did to hurt people. She's angry and empty in some way, sad of seeing. She's starting to think that probably her play is finally coming to an end, and it's not the end she wanted.
You hear footsteps, heavy footsteps. And the
I try to
dragging
move my
of the
eyes
shovel.
to see.
You don't see quite. The person doesn't come that close. But you hear Gravedigger's voice. All right, kids, it's time to pack up. And see, he throws some bit of cloth, maybe like a sack that Jacek catches. You, kid, pack up Irmina's doll and take her to the new place. And then you hear footsteps of Gravedigger just walking away. And Jacek starts putting you in the sack. And you can't see much then, but you feel that he lifts it over his shoulder and starts carrying you. And you feel the pain spreading around your body as you're being carried completely helpless, empty, and angry. You feel at some point a bit of a wind and a bit of dampness that comes through the cloth of the sack. He's just walking. The sack sways. If you could get nauseous, maybe you would, but you can't. You're dead. And it goes on for a bit. After which, you hear some other footsteps on the side. And you hear Jacek swear, fuck, and he throws you just sort of to the side. You roll, part of your head rolls out, so you have like a partial view. And you don't quite see what is happening, but you see Jacek his pickaxe, and you see a man coming onto him with a saber in his hand, which you know is a traditional weapon in Poland, very popular, very favored by the nobility. And they're fighting, and there's another man with some knife, and there's another one with claws, and Jacek is fighting them and hurts one of them with a pickaxe and another, but finally, quite quickly, they cut him and they stab him with the claws, and he falls into ash.
Yes.
One of the men comes up to you. You see now, as he's walking towards you, he's tall, athletically built. You see his handsome face. He's slightly longer, sort of dark blonde hair. He's wearing long black, sort of military style, but not quite coat. And he puts his saber for a moment back in his decorative black and silver scabbard. He comes up to you.
I have no idea. Never saw him.
No,
whatsoever.
you've never seen him.
Never.
You've never
Okay.
seen him. And he just rips the sack apart
Thank
and
you.
takes a stake out of your chest. Are you all right? Are there any other captives? Are you
Thank
able
you.
to take us to
Yes.
them?
Yes, my sisters. We have to save them.
Then you see another man, also fairly tall, with blonde fair hair and green eyes, a bit disheveled, the one who had a knife, comes up. Is Nella there? Where is Nella?
Nella.
And
I know
that man just
that
puts a hand on his chest. We'll find her. Lead us to where the other captives are.
there was another with us, probably.
Can you take us to them?
Yes. Follow me. And
they start following, and you see the third man, and he's shorter than they are, has short but very dense dark facial hair, and he's wearing pretty torn old looking pullover and woolen trousers, and he has his claws.
I look at them
out now. It's like, I'm gonna stay here and keep watch. And you see there's something animalistic about how he moves. It kind of brings an animal to your mind as you see him move, and he almost looks like he's sniffing the air. I'll keep watch. You be careful. Get her back.
Sorry if I bother you, but you don't happen to have some weapon I can borrow?
The man who first came up to you opens his coat and takes out a knife, also quite decorative, which he gives to you.
Thank you.
Lead the way.
Let's go get them.
By the way, my name is Isidor Grabowski.
What's my manner? Mara.
This is Daniel.
Right.
Very distraught. Forgive him. We're coming to save his child.
Let's go save our family then. And fuck this bastard. And Mara very, very champions-like with this knife that she doesn't know how to use, but they don't.
You put on a show.
Yes, exactly. Like, I know what I'm
What
doing.
are you feeling now as you're leading these people you don't know towards where you think your sister are still held?
It's like she was sure she was going to die, and suddenly table seems to have turned, so she's like reinvigorated by this hope to save her sisters. And she's very impressed by the two mysterious men that save her. And she probably very, very focused on the one that super. And she feels hope, so she's she feels like she can do something. So this immediately make her feel a lot better. So it's like let's go and let's evoke on these monsters, or more probably see the others do the stuff while I pretend to do something. So she's feeling she has a hope, and she's much more better now. And but she probably should have like hide and go scouting, but she's not thinking.
They're coming after you. They're clearly like want to move quickly.
She go, and the moment she saw a door, she threw herself to the door.
Yeah, so you go back into the church actually, and back into the crypt. And it takes you a bit of wondering. You're not like quite sure where you were and how you were taken out. At some point, you don't quite come across her, but you hear coming from a distance Irmina's voice, just whimpering a bit and crying. And she's like, "No, don't touch me. There's too much touch. There is too much touch. No, get away from me. Get away from me."
When I hear the voice, I immediately bolt toward the voice.
Do you really? Or do you keep looking for your sisters?
Oh, because I made the reasoning that there are the Sabbat are there, so probably the prison. If I know where.
Well, you know, Janina stayed in the.
Okay,
in the
and then I'll go to Janina place. To
you
Janina.
Don't know where Bea is at this moment. Unless you want to go towards the Sabbat, that's all an option. If you think this is more likely.
I was thinking that the reasoning was Sabbat prisoners, but yes, probably is make more sense going to the last known.
Yeah, like you realize after a moment when you hear it that she's around where your stage was, and you know how to go from there to the sarcophagus.
Okay,
but if you want to lead them towards Irmina, then by all means.
She can wait. First sister, then bitch. And I bolt to her.
So you are leading them. Are you trying to be sneaky?
They are sneaky. My companions are sneaky, or are like.
They're pretty sneaky.
Okay, I'll sneak too. I'll obfuscate at this point. That's the more sneaky thing to do.
Right. So you're obfuscated. Well, they can't see you. You're obfuscated.
Yes, but I stay close to them and give them.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Interaction.
I'm just gonna roll for them. Yeah, they're fairly sneaky. Of course, not as good as you can be. But they're trying to be sneaky. And you reach the sarcophagus.
Down there, they keep prisoners.
Right, keep watch.
Yeah.
And they start pushing the sarcophagus, the two of them. And you see that they manage. They move it.
Yes.
Between the two of them. Meanwhile, Bea, Janina, you're sitting inside. Janina, you're crying. Bea, you're singing a lullaby. And you hear the sound of the sarcophagus on top being moved again.
I move to be sort of crouched in front of Janina and just get ready for more of this bullshit. Which I'm assuming it's Sabbat coming in.
Yeah, Janina, do you do anything?
I just assume that they will probably throw back Mara, so I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching.
So the trapdoor opens, and you see a face of a man you haven't seen before, handsome man, as he leans in some of his hair, covers his face a bit. And near him soon. And then he looks and he just jumps in. And then over the entrance, Janina, you see the face of your sire.
I probably can't believe it.
Who's just shouting, Nella, Nella, have you there? Nella?
And as he says this, I'm not saying anything. I'm just frozen.
The man who jumped in looks to you. Are you all right? Is another one here?
Not anymore.
Is she gone?
Yes. She is not coming back.
I will probably start crying again when Bea says this.
At this, I'm gonna roll.
Oops. Sorry, Daniel.
Okay, he managed. So you see Daniel just grip his hands on the entrance to this cellar where the trapdoor is, and he is like squeezing the metal, and the stone is crashing in his grip, and you can see that he's very close to losing control, but he controls himself. Some just like bits of stone just fall down.
I haven't. Who are you? I say to the man in front of me, still keeping an eye on the man who is crumbling.
My name is Isidore. We came to rescue Nella, but if she's not here, and he jumps back. Well, actually, he gestures towards the ladder.
I lean down and go, Janina, we need to go. Janina, can you stand up?
I will do it, but I'm in shock. I'm probably just have my gaze towards the ground, and I can look at Daniel, and if Bea gestures to do something, I will do it, but
I've kind of got a hand hovering just behind your back, not actively touching you, but just with you, and just saying, "It's all right, darling. We're getting out. It'll be okay."
And I will do as she says.
I'll lead her to the ladder and wait for her to go first.
I will go first.
And you're climbing up, and at this, Daniel notices you. He looks in surprise. with just like utter shock. It just says, Janina?
I will try as much as I can just look him in the eyes and say yes.
And he stretches out a hand to help you up, but it's clearly like acting just on autopilot.
I will
deep
get
shock.
on my knees and in front of him, and I will look at him, and I'm gonna cry, and I'm just say that I'm sorry. I killed her.
Why do you want
Mara,
to
you hear
to
this,
get
by the
killed?
way. You hear this, by the way. All of this conversation.
Okay, I run to the girls and fuck keeping watch.
Okay.
Whatever.
I just can't get. Can't.
He is clearly he's almost shaking. You see, he's about to lose control, and then he just punches a wall and punches a hole in it.
If you want to kill me, then just do it.
I don't want to kill you. Let's get out of here. You better hear it as you climb up.
Hey. I don't know exactly who to help.
As you
for
do,
the moment,
Daniel just punches another hole in the wall and starts crying, shouting.
And I'm just crying too.
I think I might use that first dementation thing again because this is a bit loud.
Do it, yes. Charisma and empathy. Difficulty, do you want to use it on Daniel?
Yes.
It's going to be 6.
Okay. And I'm just basically going, shh. Just a soft hush noise. We're still in enemy territory, please. Please, sir. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. So he's about to punch again, and then he just kind of deflates.
Okay. We need to leave. We need to leave.
And at that, Isildur climbs up.
I'm not exactly sure who to help first, so I just put myself between my sisters and the cavalry that I'm not sure anymore if it's 100% cavalry, so I don't know. I put myself elegantly between the two groups, and well, sisters, sorry I have been late, and let's get out of this place. We can plan vengeance for how long you want. I will help you. I will help you get these fuckers. And
I probably have my lock on Daniel, and I just don't really care about anything.
And this Isildur climbs out.
I'll turn around to help him up if
He accepts with a smile. You know he doesn't need it.
No, I'm
But
fully
he
aware. I'm just
appreciates
being
the
polite.
gesture. Yes. Smiles. Get up. All right. Let's move. We can talk later. We need to get out of here quickly.
yes.
And he starts leading the way. He takes down. Come on. And he looks to you, Janina. Are you okay to walk? Do you need any help?
No.
He stretches out his hand to help you stand up.
I will take it.
So he pushes sort of Daniel forward and is leading you by the hand. And you're walking along the corridors towards the exit. And you hear Gravedigger. Well, I'm just gonna check what the fuck's going on around there. And you do see him emerge. He's quite a bit of a distance from you. But along the sort of corridor in a crypt, holding his shovel. For fuck's sake. And he just throws his shovel kind of like a spear in the air towards the group of you. Let's see towards whom it's going. Janina, do you attempt to move out of the way, or are you just too beyond caring?
If I see him, I'm just angry, and I'm just probably try to rush towards him, and I will let go of the hand, and I'm just, if I see, as soon as I see him, I see that I will just try to run towards him.
So you try to run are you angry?
Yes.
Please roll me your self-control. With difficulty 8 then.
No success. No success.
No success. So you see Janina. I'm just gonna make one roll very quickly. You see Janina is about to just like the shovel is coming towards her. She's about to, as you were, because he threw it just as you were passing on her. She's about to just go running into that corridor. And Isidore, okay. So he catches her, just holds her by the arm in place. And he kind of shifts himself, so he gets hit in the shovel. He takes it in the arm. Gives out a sign of pain. It's like, get out of here. I'm gonna get her out.
Can I use the haunting on Gravedigger again, please?
I mean, he is already under the influence.
Okay, sorry, I didn't.
It's like he's coming and going. I don't think you can put it on him again.
If there's just a way of like intensifying it at that moment, so that
you can try to stir his emotions.
Okay.
I stay on Janina's side and with my.
Isidore turns to you and Daniel and Mara and says like, get out of here, I'm gonna get her out. And he's, not only your strength and brawl and potence, no wound penalties.
What is the difficulty?
Difficulty is 6.
I have no success. I have 1 6 and 1 1. So
yeah, you have no successes.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna be fine. Yeah, you see he's holding her reasonably easily.
I help dragging Frenzy Janina outside the building.
And you see Gravedigger sort of look towards your group, kind of counting. And then he just disappears around the corner.
We need to go. We need to go fast now.
Yes.
Yes, move. And he is like, Isidore just wraps his arm around Janina and carries her. He puts his saber away. He carries her.
Aww.
As she's struggling in frenzy.
Important question.
Wraps arms
I
around
love strong
her.
man.
I have not done before. He has mustache.
No.
Yes,
He's
it's
clean
important.
shaven.
Yes.
The perfect man.
Okay. Ladies, please.
Okay, so if Janina seems to me relatively safe.
Yeah, he is carrying her and he starts moving towards the exit with her secured. She is thrashing, but he is strong enough to hold her.
Okay. Bea is carried bride-like by someone?
No,
I can walk. I can walk. I'm good.
I grab her clothes. I don't want Mara, don't touch her, like grab her clothes. Just to want to make sure to have her around, but not want to touch her because she knows she ate it. So it's
My
like
shirt is untucked at the moment, so you can probably grab one of like the ends of the shirt.
yeah,
And
there's
there's a brief moment where she almost flinches and then accepts this and moves on. It's like, that's fine.
With a dagger and like Mara is putting like a facade of like a warrior with saber.
Yeah, I'm holding my piece of glass that I coveted earlier.
Yeah, we are ready to fight.
No, I'm ready to fucking leave.
And you see Daniel is just walking very mechanically. But he is walking with purpose towards the exit. And you emerge from the crypt. And you're in the ruins. You see the cross is still there. It's the place where you were fighting. And instead of goats towards the exit from. And you hear, as you're going towards the exit from the church, you're walking through the dark archway that is mostly intact. You hear noises of fighting and laughter. And you recognize that laughter, Bea, as Arex.
I continue moving forward.
And you move forward, and as you emerge from the archway, a bit to the side, some distance from you, you recognize the man, the third man who stayed to keep watch. He is fighting Arek, and they're both using their claws. And the man is quite visibly hurt. Arek is a bit hurt as well. And just as you exit, Arek jams his claws in the man's neck and pushes up, almost tearing his head off. And blood splatters over Arek, who laughs. And the man falls into ashes. At which Arek looks to you, winks, smiles, and bolts along the street. I'm gonna do some rolls now.
Oh no.
Okay. No, they're fine. So they're rolling pretty well.
I'm glad someone is.
Yeah. So you see, then he's thinking about going, but he's still kind of calmer, and he doesn't. And you can see on his little face that he's angry, but he is holding Janina, and he focuses on that. Janina, you come to. You're being carried. You feel somebody's arms around you, holding you tightly in place.
I will probably try to, because it probably takes me a bit to realize what's happening, so I will try to flinch and try to get away from it. But if I recognize the face and I remember everything, then I will just calm down. But my first reaction is just to try to get myself away.
So as you do that, he just shows his face to you. He says, "Don't worry, you're safe. We're taking you out of this place. You needed some help. Your blood took over for a moment."
I'm here, Janina. We are here. We are safe.
I will try to concentrate on Mara's voice and face.
He will put you down so that you can walk.
All right.
And I once again thank you for your help, good gentleman.
Isidore just looks for you. You should come with us. They're still nearby. We'll talk in a moment when we get away from
you have a safe place.
Relatively, as much as anywhere can be.
I'm going to disappear. I cannot
Yes,
be
I know.
seen. But I'm with you.
Just don't get lost. Stay close.
I go, and then I
probably walk like last one.
Well, he will make sure that you're walking near him.
Then I very
so you don't get lost.
anticlimatically turn in a shadow corner, disappear, turn back, because I can disappear if people is watching me.
So and you are walking through the streets of Warsaw, and they are keeping very strongly off the streets. It is fairly late, but they clearly, realizing what state you're in especially, don't want to be noticed. So you're not really walking on streets, you're walking through the ruined buildings. You have to climb over the rubble sometimes or walk through the frame of a window to get into a different one. You're walking in darkness like that. What's going through your heads as you do that, Bea?
A weird mixture of both relief, anger at Arik, confusion as to who these people are, but willing to wait until we're in a better place to talk. Also, I'm now aware that Janina is a Diablerist, so I can't exactly bring her back to court. So that's the thing I'm now aware of. There's, I think, earlier memories are starting to get fuzzy because so much has happened so quickly. But just, I think it's mostly relief to be out of there, and that there's a chance that I can get back to Mother.
How about you, Mara? What is going through your head?
The main emotion is probably relief because her sisters are more or less safe and out of Sabbat clenches when she thought it was almost over. She's not. She obviously, since she does not trust easily, she is obviously starting to wonder about who these people are, why she never saw them at court, and so on. But for now, she knows she has little choice but to trust them because she cannot fight. She has saw the gangrel destroying metal, so she knows that it's better if they are allies and not enemies. So for now, she's suspicious but hopeful, and she wants revenge against Sabbat. There is also a very strong feeling. She will not forget easily.
How about you, Janina?
I think Janina is still in shock that Daniel is alive, and also she feels a lot of guilt for killing Noah, and also even more because she knows that Daniel cared about her a lot, and she maybe is angry a bit at him that he cared so much about her and not about her. And she is relieved that they are out of there, but I think that she's just so done with everything that she is glad that her sisters are safe, and Daniel, that she met him again. That probably is something on her mind a lot. But she doesn't think about the revenge of Sabbat. She's just done with life, probably.
And as you are walking, you also sometimes, in those thoughts about Daniel, sometimes you remember yourself, how you were with him in this flat, and it mixes with a memory of Nella being with him in some abandoned basement that he explains about kindred to her. And you remember him taking you to safety, and it mixes with memories of Nella being close in his arms, crying. And you are moving across the city, through these ruined buildings, until finally you reach the gate of a park. Janina, Mara, you would recognize it as Łazienki, or Royal Baths Park, which is the largest park in Warsaw, with a lot of, well, at least it used to be before the war, lovely structures inside. And the gate, like the fence is sort of destroyed, and they just walk over it into the park. And you're moving across the park on dried leaves. It's quite dark here. You have these leaves and chestnuts under your feet as you're moving. There is some dried pond at some point to your side. You see some building with white columns somewhere in the distance, but you're not going there. And you're moving across the park. Bea, roll me your perception and awareness with difficulty 8.
Haven't done this for a while. 4 successes.
4 successes. So as you're walking, you look up, seeing some crows in the trees. And you see several of them, quite like a very large group, just move around. The trees flapping their wings, some of the dry, colorful leaves fall to the ground as the crows are circling and circling, moving from tree to tree, angry in this angry movement. And you know that this is a place of sorrow and despair, and death is circling closer and closer to it, even though it tries to hold out.
Death is coming to this place.
Daniel just looks to you, still kind of unnaturally calm.
Well, we are dead, in a sense.
Isidore just looks to you. Yes, I should probably expect that. Come on, it's still relatively safe.
Does the feeling of death, does that feel imminent?
No, it's not like it's coming right now. It's more something that's been happening for a while, and it's just closing in tighter and tighter and tighter, almost suffocating this place and those inside.
I probably keep an eye on Janina, because I'm used to her be the one coming to us, hugging us, and her not doing this is very worrying me. I don't approach her till we are safe, but I keep an eye on her.
Janina, do you do anything unusual? Do you respond? Do you notice maybe? Or do you think you don't even notice Mara watching you?
I probably don't even notice, because I'm just following, and the only one person, like, if she talks to me, I will notice, but if she's silent, I'm just gonna keep my eyes on Daniel, and that's all.
Daniel looks to you with this unnatural calm from time to time, shakes his head, and do you try to discern what he's feeling?
Probably not, because I think I just can't imagine it. I don't need to try. And I also probably suspect that Bea used her powers on him, so
Yes, I mean,
I just keep an eye on him.
Count down very abruptly.
Because it's very I'm still in shock that it's him.
And you reach what used to be a water tower. Not a big structure, completely sort of round. And you are closing towards the entrance, which also has two classical style white columns near it. Isidore starts whistling a melody. Mara and Janina, roll me intelligence and streetwise. Just let's see. Difficulty is 7.
Does the penalty apply?
Yes, to focus. Yes.
What is the difficulty?
7.
I have 1 success.
2 successes.
So you both recognize it as a Polish revolutionary song. The Warsawian, which curiously is known as Whirlwind of Danger in English, but you would know it as the Warsawian. And it's a revolutionary song that was an anthem of workers' protest during 1905 revolution in Poland, and adopted by the socialist movement afterwards as well.
Is the one who have saved me that is singing?
Yeah, he's whistling melody.
I very slow, very whispering, because I can't I won't risk breaking my obfuscate. I whistle with him.
So you start whistling with him. And after that, he walks towards the door and opens it. And you see, standing in front of you, a woman, maybe in her early 30s, with short brown hair and freckles all around her face, in a black shirt and red handkerchief on her neck. And she looks, "You're back. I was being worried. Who the hell are they? Where's Nella? Where's Ludwig?" Isidore bows his head. "We lost Ludwig, and Nella was already dead." You see, this woman. Okay, so you see her just look to him, and then she just jumps him.
Mara
her fangs extend, and she just jumps him, and he takes her into his arms, and they're struggling, rolling on the floor as he tries to push her into the ground, and she's trying to bite into him, trying to rip him apart, ripping at his coat.
Mara tried to help
Janina has no.
Who is now basically her new hero of the night.
How are you trying to help?
Yeah, with my incredible strength.
What are you trying to do? They're kind of he wraps his arms around her. They're kind of rolling on the ground. Do you try to approach that mess to fighting kindred?
If I can try to help him to
pin her down.
grapple. Yes.
Okay. Let's say like this. Roll me your strength and brawl. You can add your potence with difficulty 8 to see if you can get in there and actually help out a bit.
Okay. 1 success.
1 success. Okay, so you don't get hit as you try to do this.
Yes.
and you sort of you're not doing really that much, but you grab her arm at one point as she was about to punch him. So you sort of, you don't get in the way too much, and you sort of manage to be a little bit of help. It's not certain if he noticed. But finally he pins her to the ground. And she's there thrashing in frenzy for a bit longer, but finally calms down. And as she comes down, she looks around, looks to him, nods her head, and then looks angry again. Doesn't attempt to stand up or anything, and he just sort of moves up, and she starts standing up only when he does. Are you still holding her, or do you also
when she seems to me like he's in control?
Yeah.
I just probably get let myself fall sitting on the ground
You sit on the ground
and let her go. Just
she looks to Isidore with this anger. I told you it was not worth it. He looks to you, Mara, and then Bea and Janina. We rescued 3 people, and we come back for our own. There was a chance. Ludwig was a good comrade. Shouldn't have lost him to this. Who are they?
Sorry for your loss.
I'm Mara. These are my 2 sisters. We can only thank you for your help. We will be dead without you, and there's not much more that we can say that we are grateful, and we are very sorry if you lose family to that bastards too.
She's good looking, shakes her head, looks to Isidore. Vanda's gonna be so hurt and so fucking pissed. And you hear that she speaks with a slight but still Russian accent, the woman.
If I can help you in any way.
Yes. We owe you a great
You
debt.
saved our lives.
She just waves her hand and gets back inside. Isidore looks to you. Please understand, my friend is hurting for the loss of our good friend.
Of course.
I understand.
I am glad we're able to help anybody.
Thank you, sir.
Please come on inside.
Thank you.
Mara is obviously very tired and very hurt by now. She struggled to stand.
So you head inside, and as you do, Janina, Daniel comes up to you and takes your hand and squeezes it a bit, looking to you. We're gonna have to talk later, but I am glad to see you.
I will just cry, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just looking. I'm not gonna probably even look to him. I'm just gonna look at the ground. I'm very ashamed for killing my sister, basically.
And inside, you see 2 more people. You see a thin, fairly short man dressed in a pretty colorful shirt with green and gold patterns and some subtle but still visible gold jewelry with nicely arranged dark hair. And you see a woman with short black hair and big black eyes who is wearing wooden dress, but now it's rather wrinkled and torn and stitched together in some places. And she has a great coat over it. And Bea, as you look to her, you feel this feeling of familiarity, but you can't quite place it. And she rushes to Isidore as he enters with you and wraps arms around him. I'm so glad you're back. Glad to see you safe.
I have never seen any of them.
No,
at
you've never
court.
seen any of these people in your life.
Mara is suspicious.
Janina doesn't care. She only care about her sisters. And
What
I.
are you suspicious of, Mara? What are your thoughts? What are your suspicions? Is it just general distrust, or is something more specific coming from the fact you've never seen them?
I have Mara. Probably what I've seen so far of them, she quite likes them. She does not trust them, but what she saw, she likes. And but she suspects that either they are like independent or something, but they are not affiliated with the Camarilla, because she has never. So, and this can be good news or bad news. She's not sure. So she probably start to like try to cater near her sisters and stay together. And she's
Janina,
tiredly looking out.
Your wit, just your wit, with difficulty 7.
Does the penalty apply?
No, not here. I just want to see if
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, so then you would remember Zygmunt mentioning the name Isidor Grabowski as part of the Brucha who went away at some point.
All right. I'm probably just, it maybe clicks in my head right now, but I'm not saying anything because I'm not in the mental state of just, maybe I will keep this information for later to talk with Mara.
Janina will remember this.
Yeah, she will.
Yeah.
And the woman who was hugging Isidore, let's go. She looks. I heard Ludwig's not back. You must be hurting. And she keeps a hand on his arm. Who are you?
I'm looking at her very curiously.
Oh, sorry. Where are my manners? I'm sorry. Long night. Long couple of days. I'm Mara of Clan Nosferatu, as you can imagine. These are my sisters, Bea and Janina. We are, more than grateful to all of you for your help. We would have been dead without your friends.
She smiles as if she was trying to smile politely, but doesn't quite manage. And is clearly also very confused. And the man in colorful clothing and this says, welcome, welcome. I know the time is not one for celebrations, but I've managed to procure something. And he produces 2 jars of the point is looking like slightly diluted blood, but he's kind of shaking it and it gets more like blood. Janina, you would know that this is how like a lot of blood would be transported dried for transfusions, and then you can mix it with water again at that time. So he's preparing this.
I don't know who you are, but you are my hero. Right?
Well, I'm Oscar.
Oscar,
It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
I just probably like not, but I'm just not really paying much attention.
And I'm sorry. I have short of an horn. I usually have 2 when I introduce myself to people, but you think?
Oh, I think it's a great asymmetry.
Oh, thank you. I see a man of culture as well. You think we can have some of
Well,
The
as
refreshment.
far as I'm concerned, and I procured it, I think you need it.
Yes, my
You also
sisters.
need, right? He looks to Isidore, who is visibly wounded. He looks, no, I will be all right. I think they require it more than I do. All right, then. Coming right up. And he makes a little bit of a show of mixing.
I smile and
I don't smile.
my eyes are still sort of flicking back to the woman who feels familiar to me.
She's looking to you. She's staying close to Isidore, holding his arm. And she looks to you now. Are you from the Camarilla?
I look to my sisters.
Well, not with the Sabbat, that for sure.
I will just say, not anymore.
What do you mean, not anymore? Isidore, they must know where they are. We need to find them. It's like, just wait a moment. We've been through a lot. Let them calm down. Let them feed. Yes, but we need to. This is our chance. Please, just a moment.
Yes, a moment is a good idea.
Mara looks, give a worried, a truly worried look towards Janina, and try to bring her closer to the blood to.
Do I need it also when I drank Nella? Did I get any blood?
Yes, you got 2 blood points.
Okay.
Sorry,
Because
I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. I just remember right now. So. Okay.
And I keep for the skirt.
I tried not
so
to drink
probably
because I'm really not in the mood for. I don't want it.
Janina, you need to feed. Please.
I will try to resist.
You are feeling hungry.
You need your strength, please.
Just roll me your self-control. Difficulty is 6.
Does the penalty count?
No, not for a virtue.
I have 4 success.
So you can resist. You are hungry. Isidore comes up to you. Listen, I understand that you're probably not in a mood for anything, but you need to drink. That's what helps us control ourselves.
Yes. Please, Janina.
All right. If
you are the child of Daniel, we share the same curse. I know very well what it can do.
At that, my arrow jump down. I start. Why?
I will then drink. But I'm not enjoying it.
Do you drink the whole jar?
Yes.
Then you can get 2 blood points from it.
Bea, how are you feeling?
I think you could use it more than I could. Plus, if anything goes wrong, it's a lot easier to hold me down.
Oscar is shaking.
I make sure that Bea drinks too.
No, I'm
And
saying,
hands it
I'm
to
saying
you,
sort of
Mara.
after. I'm saying after.
Gives
Mara.
you a little bit of a bow. He does.
Give the barista her best smile, and she drinks, but she keep an eye on her sister. She's not. She likes these people, but she's not completely at ease. She's quite on edge, so she drinks, but cautiously.
That's very fair, given also what you just went through. Do you drink half of the jar or all of it?
My sister are drinking.
Janina emptied one of the jars.
Okay. Bea has her own jar, I suppose.
No, you only have 2.
Okay, so I drink a bit. I drink the least I can, and I let her
So
have
you can
all the other.
get a blood point each if you share the jar.
I'm
Belle-
sorry, I
Bea looks hesitant to take the last bit, sort of looking at Mara with a kind of expression of
Mara
think you-
smiles. I'm fine. Don't worry. I'm very fine.
Good.
She's not, but
Yeah.
should I? I'm
You're
fine.
still
I'm
hungry,
completely
if I
fine.
counted correctly.
I think I'm too hungry to argue the point
Yeah.
further, so I'll take.
And you get a blood point as well.
And then sort of bow my head to the bartender and say thank you very
And
much.
Isidore turns to Daniel. Daniel, I understand you will want to talk with your child later, but can you please go look for Zoe? I wouldn't want her to be on her own and get in trouble. And he looks to you, Janina, but then says, yes, of course, yes, shouldn't have let her wander off alone.
Janina, other than the stuff we already know.
I kind of look
And I
over Janina's
glance
shoulder
at
at Mara, and I'm kind of shaking my head, and I sort of.
I look to I probably I'm not in no condition to be very subtle at this point. So I look towards the Daniel and like.
Well, Daniel is walking. He's walked away, and
I
whisper
say
to
to
Mara,
Janina,
then
it's okay. It's
not
okay.
okay.
Okay. You want to stay here or you want to go? How bad it is with him?
I don't know. He's my sire. And I'm gonna lean towards her like neck and ear, and I'm gonna whisper, I drank my sister dry. And I will whisper, I can go back to Camarilla. And that's all I'm gonna say to her. And then I'm just I'm whispering, so only like Mara, and maybe if Bea is very close, she can hear it, but I'm trying to be very subtle.
I hug Mara, hug her back.
I'm not hugging her, I'm just like leaning, but I'm just, if I hug her, I just it's not like the
Mara,
I usually like very passionately hug, and
Mara
today I'm just like,
hugs you. Mara hugs you properly this time, and she for Bea that can probably see them both. After hearing what she said, she closed her eyes with this expression of like finality, and she hugs her. She hugs Janina. Well, not very strong because it's not very strong, but she strongly
just hug her like,
and she whisper back
till the very end.
And I'm not saying anything, but I'm gonna lean my head on her shoulder and just relax.
Bea, how about you? You see them whispering to each other, hugging each other. Are you doing anything? Are you?
I'm glad that Mara can give Janina some comfort. But otherwise, I'm just looking around the room, and my eyes keep landing back on the lady who's familiar.
And she smiles at you at some point and says, you keep looking to me, my dear. I'm afraid I'm not looking my best at this moment.
I think I can. Well, I think that's the same for myself.
Quite right, but I'm sure it will get fixed.
Thank you. I feel like we've met before. I must apologize. It's been.
Well, maybe. Have you been at the court before the war, or at the start?
I think so. Yes, it's a bit hazy.
Nina.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Beatrice.
Beatrice, I don't recall, but so much has happened in between.
No, absolutely fair. But yes, we can give you a bit more details about court, etc.
Yes, she looks to Isidore again. We're gonna have to go back. You have to go talk to the prince. He looks to you. Is there even a prince? Are you really
Yes.
from the Camarilla?
Yes.
Who is it now?
Sorry, one moment. Her name. It's fuzzy. Sorry. I go back through my notes and
I will whisper Katarina. Is it
Katar-
Katarina?
Katarzyna.
Katarzyna, yeah.
Katarina, yes.
I nod to her. Yes, Katarzyna.
Oscar just sighs.
But
Never gonna get away from that bitch.
well, me and Janina and me can't go back.
Isidore looks to you. What do you mean you can't go back? Where else do you have to go? I mean, I can welcome
Good
you to stay with
question.
us, but
I don't want to impose. I don't even, with all due respect, thank you. You have saved our lives. I'm in your debt and I will help you if I can, but I don't know you. I don't fucking know you. I don't know if I can trust you.
I
No, we have no
understand
place to go back, but
your
we can go back.
distrust.
I don't even want to go back.
Janina can't go back.
Believe me, I
and
understand that as well. Let's not talk about this right now. Who are you? What has happened? How did you end up where you ended up?
we were asked to get her intel about the Sabbat.
Yes.
And
Rymachin.
the Sabbat caught us, unfortunately. They were well prepared to have spies sent our ways.
Yes, our mission has been risky, but they've been moving somewhere else, and we decided to use that.
So, yes, we working for the Camarilla, mostly because the alternative, there was no choice. The Sabbat, we cannot fight the Sabbat on our own. We are, quite young, so to speak. And so we work for them in exchange for protection. But now seems that thing has changed in the last few days. And Janina and I can't go back. Well,
He looks to you. Do you
She
not
can't.
wish to go back? I understand it.
if she can't, I refuse to go back where she cannot be. I promise to stay with her till the very end. I
And
will stay
this-
with her.
Nina looks to Janina,
But
and you see her eyes go even wider. She raises her hand to her mouth and whispers something to Isidore. He clenches his palms, just visibly not quite angry at you, just generally frustrated.
I instantly step in front of Janina, and but then I look to Bea with a sort of helplessness, like I don't know what to do.
She's
I can't.
I don't
looking
want
back
to.
at you sadly.
I don't want Bea. I know I will not force. I don't want to give up on the only family I have. Stay with us.
You
We
are
don't have
welcome.
nothing. We have nothing to offer you. Literally.
You're my sisters. I have a duty to fulfill the task we were given to do, so I will return to do that, but I'll come back for you.
Mother will never let you go back. But I will not stop you if you want to stay with them.
She looks like she wants to cry.
Isidore looks to all of you. My dear, please, let's hold on a moment before making any rash decisions. All three of you. I know you're shaken. You need to rest. Please, stay here for this night and the day. We will protect you. We're a small group trying to survive on our own. I won't lie to you though. We are dying. The Sabbat's been incessant coming against us, and I don't know how much longer we can hold them back. And you see him just, his face twists in this anger and frustration and helplessness.
I'm just
We'll
probably
need
gonna
to
say
consult with my companions on what to do next. You bring some information. Where is the Camarilla at the moment?
at the hotel, Bristol.
Hotel Bristol.
That feels familiar to me, so I nod.
Yes. It feels familiar. It sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
it's the brief moment of hesitation.
I
could at least help you come back there if you need.
Yes,
My sire is there.
Nina grabs his arm. You should go, and maybe you can talk on their behalf. The prince might listen to you. Why would she listen to me?
I will probably now remember that he has the same name as the man in the essay, and I'm gonna say, "You are a child of Zygmunt, aren't you?"
He looks to you. Yes. How is he?
Well, I read your essay, his essay, and your notes into it.
He's the one of the notes. I can't
Yes.
believe we actually met him. We read the book. Your sire is well.
He's still thinking of you.
He just nods his head. Roll perception and empathy.
So everyone or just Janina?
If you're interested, I assume
Does the
Mara
penalty
and
count?
Janina are interested. Yes, penalty counts.
And what is the difficulty?
It
6.
10, so
3 successes.
2 successes because I have an insightful too.
2 successes. Janina, how many do you have?
3.
3. Okay, so all of you see that he's glad hearing his sire is okay, and he doesn't want to show it, and he's angry that he still cares, like he wants to make himself stop caring. And he turns away in frustration.
I think Zygmunt is one of the good men of the Camarilla.
None of us are good men.
I know. I mean,
But I'm
for
sorry.
the standards.
I'm sorry. I'm letting my emotions get the better of me.
That's okay.
As I said, we're a small group. You met everyone except Vanda. But I think Zoya went to find her, and I don't think she will show up, knowing Ludwig is gone. But Vanda will come back eventually. And maybe Daniel will bring back Zoya. You should relax now, if you want some privacy. There's a room upstairs. And he gestures, and there is, very reminiscent of the one in your prison, a metal ladder in the wall leading up.
I'm probably hesitant to go towards it.
That's all right, but thank you.
Thank you.
And sort of, if there's a seat or something, I'll just slowly.
There aren't really seats.
Then I'll
as
just
such.
sort of find
You can
a corner.
like see a part of a sofa, just like one of the sofa sort of parts, the cushions, just laying there on the ground. It's pretty sparse. They don't really have furniture.
That's fine.
They have some blankets, some pillows, some like bits of sofas.
I'll also sit sort of on the ground with my back against the wall, just rest.
And what do you do, Mara?
Mara, I'm very deep in thought because the moment she feared has come sooner that she was prepared. She feared she had to choose what she had to let go of Beatrice, and she did not want that, but she knew that this was a possibility. And she's also curious about these people. So she retired with her sisters, but she stay in a position that she is like can react if something like near the door.
So you're pretty watchful, but you see, like, at some point, please excuse me, says Isidore, I will be nearby to keep a watch. And he leaves with Nina. And Oscar stays. But he doesn't say anything. He glances towards you, smiles from time to time. He flips a coin, evidently showing off. Doing a few tricks, moving it around his fingers, looking to you to see if he has your attention.
Mara gives him her attention. She's not in the mood, but she truly likes him, so she claps at the moment.
He's sort of lying down, but he gives like an impression of a bow at this. Janina, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm thinking about Bea, and if she's gonna leave us, because I feel that Mara's not gonna abandon me. And I wish Bea didn't too. And I think about her, and I think about the moment where she sang me the lullaby, and it made me feel incredibly close to her. And I felt a lot of love towards her. And I just can't imagine that she would be gone and that we would never, or maybe not never, but that we would never be so close as we are right now. It's just hard to imagine for me. And I think about Daniel. And I kind of fear the talk we are going to have, because I just really feel guilty for Nella, and I don't know what to say to make it better, because I know there's nothing I can do to take it away. She's forever within me, and it just feels strange. And it's like having an alien inside of me, and at the same time she's part of me, so I'm torn between just this feeling of having her thoughts and knowing that they are not mine, and at the same time that they are part of me right now. And I'm also glad that I have Mara, and I'm 100% sure that I can trust her, and she is the one that is giving me a slight will to try and maybe, I don't know, try again, not to lose myself completely and not give up.
And you, Belle, what's going through your head as you sit there trying to rest?
I'm pulling out the notebook and trying to make some hurried notes while my thoughts are still with me. But also there's this sort of gnawing feeling of I need to go back to Mother. The blood is calling me back there. But also I don't want to leave my sisters, but I have this duty that feels so... It feels... It's incredibly compelling. It's the part of me that wants to do my duty, to follow through in the instructions I was given, even though I can't necessarily remember the instructions very well. And now there's this group that has rescued us, and I feel indebted to them. And if there's a way that I can both help them and perhaps help the Camarilla, so bring them back together, then that would be beneficial. But I'm scared to go back in case Mara has a point and Mother won't let me leave, because I want to come back to them. I want both things. I want to both be a part of the Camarilla and to be able to go to my sisters. I want the best of both worlds, and I probably can't have it.
And I think we will leave you here in a water tower with those thoughts. Thank you so much for playing. And thank you to everyone who's been watching. We hope you enjoyed it. And yes, and that you will come back in 2 weeks to watch another episode to see what will happen with the coterie. That will be on the 22nd of June at the same time, 6:30 p.m. British Summer Time. So please join us in 2 weeks to continue our story. And once again, thank you for being with us.
Yes.
And
Bye-bye.
Bye.